Hello and welcome back to my vlog, chapter 13 of Laugh and Live by Douglas Fairbanks, Self-Indulgence and Failure. The correct definition of self-indulgence is failure, because self-indulgence is comprised of an aggregation of vices, large and small, and failure is the logical sequence thereof. Even the habit of eating may be cultivated into a vice. Indeed, there are those who gorge without restraint, which in itself is unchaste and immoral. We've often seen them as, with napkin underfoot or tucked under the collar, they eat their way through mountains of food and wash it down as they reach for more. No use to say how and what we feel when we attend such performances. It is all right to say, look the other way, but it can't be done. It is human nature to gaze upon horror, sometimes in sympathy, but more often in amazement. Sometimes a well-staged scene of gormandizing, viewed from a seat in the second or third row center of a softly lighted, thick-carpeted food emporium, saves us the price of our own meal. We no longer hunger on our own account. Our appetite is appeased by proxy, so to speak, and we calmly fix our eyes on the big show and sigh for a baseball bat. No wonder a noted bachelor of medicine declares, "People are what they eat." The exclamation point is our own. We quite agree with our medical brother, for we have seen people eat until we thought we would never be hungry again. But there is more to self-indulgence than the food specialist has to answer for, so we will be on our way. For instance, there is the spendthrift. Surely he is entitled to a short stanza. We all know him. He goes on the theory that he has all the spending money in the world, and that long after he is dead, those on whom he spent it will remember his generosity. Vain hope. Whatever memory of him remains will be of a different kind. Those who have been bored by his gratuitous attentions will take up the threads of their existence where they left off when he drove them away from their usual haunts. No longer will they have to dodge down alleys and run up strange stairways in an effort to avoid his overtures. When alive and in full operation, he knew more about what was best for us than we could possibly think of knowing. Left to his own devices, he would have us smoke his particular brands, drink his labels, eat his selections, wear his kind of a cravat, overcoat, cap, hat, shoes, and underwear. And to make his proposition sound businesslike, he would willingly pay the bills. In this little amusement, we are supposed to play the part of receiver and praise his generosity. Whatever may be our verdict on this chap, we must keep in mind that his inordinate desire to waste his substance was no less than a vice, if for no other reason than its example upon others. It is just as bad to be a receiver as it is to be a spendthrift. If we cannot build up a reputation for generosity without becoming ostentatious, we might better take lessons in refinement from someone to the manner born. There is no desire to single out and set down by name and number every sort of self-indulgence. Excesses of any kind are indulgences, and it is easy to fall into them if we have not built up our stamina to resist. Our failures are usually traceable to ourselves. No matter what excuses may be offered in our behalf, we know in our own minds that we are to blame. Somewhere along the line of our endeavors we faltered. Then we fell. Our conservatism, reinforced by our strength of character, finally gave way at a given point and put the whole plant out of business. Our system of inspection had become cursory instead of painstaking. Everything had been running along so smoothly, we forgot that everything must wear out in time if it isn't looked after properly. A previous chapter entitled Taking Stock of Ourselves has a specific bearing on the subject in hand. It emphasizes the necessity of taking stock of ourselves early in life in order that we may know our weak spots and take immediate steps to dig them out by the roots and replace them with hardy perennials which thrive on unto the last day. And that reminds us that it is well to take stock of ourselves every little while. Even hardy perennials have to be looked after, the ground kept fertile and watered against the drafts of forgetfulness and neglect. And so it must be with our mental and physical processes, in order that each day of our lives we may go forth with renewed forcefulness, with every atom of character in full working order. Having started off on the right foot, we are less likely to have trouble with our higher resolves during the lean and hungry years of our youth, when we go plunging headlong toward the goal of our ambitions. Usually it is not until we come into easy street that we find that we dropped something somewhere along the line, which we must replace at once or we will be laid up for repairs. But lo and behold, easy street is fair to look upon. It dazzles the eye. It takes hold of the sensibilities. Everybody wears Sunday clothes on this street and seems to be superlatively happy. Surely it wouldn't hurt to linger a while and see what is going on. Why, this is the most talked about street in the world. Some of the people we have dealt with have told us about it. They said it was the only street for a man of means, for there could be found the very things for which we strive in life. They told us that the people we would meet represented the higher order of intelligence, brainy, alert, accomplished, a grand thoroughfare for those who would know life in the fullness thereof. Now, it is a fact that easy street may be crossed and recrossed in safety every day of our lives if we do not tarry. Financial competence might permit of it, but competent efficiency demands that we trot along, keep moving, get away before we settle down into its ways. The action we need is not along this brilliant lane. But suppose we do take a chance just to test the serene confidence which we think is so safely nailed down within us. The very thought of it makes the caution bell tinkle in our ears. But caution is a species of cowardice, after all, we say. A man of courage may dare anything once. And just at the moment we waver, who comes along but our old friend, self-indulgence, the well-dressed, carefree fellow who once told us all about Easy Street and invited us to look in on him sometime. Nothing would please him more than to show us the whole works. And here he is, shaking us by the hand and pulling us along, for he is an affable fellow and will not take no for an answer. Our struggle is feeble. A huge chunk of our strength of character falls off into space then and there. Even at the gilded entrance we try again to beg off, to slip away. But self-indulgence will not hear. So together we go through the portals, leading into a grandeur we had never known, beyond our experience and power to believe. This is likely to become the turning point in our career. Bill Nye once said, when we start downhill, we usually find everything greased for the occasion. We might add, except the bumps. Laugh and live, make it a great day, and bye for now.